Today, the ultimate guide to MGA's Miniverse Diner Series 1. From milkshakes to cheesecakes, we're building them all and giving you the weights for every product. We've got 18 highly detailed miniature craft kits and we're making them all today, so let's get going. Hey babe, roll my intro. Crafty Magic Dolls content is intended viewing for adults who collect toys and dolls. Content, topics, and discussions are intended for adult collectors and not for f***ing kids. But hey, at least you've been warned.
As I go over each of the items in the Diner Series 1, I'll give you the estimated weights of each item. Here is what the case of Diner Series 1 looks like. The Miniverse Diner Series 1 had a mint chocolate chip milkshake on the front of the balls as well as on the photo on the front of the box, with a bright pink inner wrapper that distinguished it from the Cafe series, which had smaller balls with teal wrappers. For those of you interested in buying just one or two specific items from the series, don't worry, I'm going to include video timestamps in the description below the video so that you can skip ahead or go back to the specific item you want to check out. There was only one wave in this series, meaning that all 18 food items were released from the very beginning. In a full case of Diner Series 1 balls, there were 18. MGA is usually pretty consistent, and it was pretty reasonable to believe that if you buy a full case, you'll get a full series of the 18 products. This is not infallible, and it's not the same with every series, but in this series, it is true. As far as the Diner Series 1, here's what each case looked like.
Strawberry shake, strawberry parfait, chocolate milkshake, s'mores parfait, strawberry toast, strawberry cheesecake, blueberry cheesecake, lemon tart, mixed berry tart, banana toast, key lime pie, strawberry waffles, French toast, cherry pie, avocado toast, chocolate chip pancakes, mint chocolate shake, and banana pudding.
Not only are the contents of each case almost always the same, but the location of the product in the case is also almost always the same. In the case of the Diner Series 1, this is especially important if you were looking for the cherry pie, one of the most sought out items in this series. The cherry pie was one of the first balls into the case, and therefore, when it was opened on a store shelf, the cherry pie was almost always one of the first balls that was sold. This means if you only ever found half-empty cases at your local store on the shelf, you probably stood no chance of getting the cherry pie because it was already gone. If you do want to buy a full case, here are my tips for you. Order 18 balls directly from MGA online. They will send you a full untouched case in the mail. Also, go check out stores on whatever days the store nearest you tends to get product in on trucks. You can typically find out this information from customer service or an employee that works in the toy section. They'll be able to tell you what days and times are the best to ensure that the toys have just been put out on shelves. At Target stores, most stores stock product early in the morning and most new toys are put out on the floor before noon. If you're looking at Walmart, most of their stores stock product at nighttime, and you'll often find pallets of unopened products stored in the center aisle, the end of the toy aisles, waiting to be put away. So even if you don't find cases of product on the shelves, don't hesitate to check the giant piles of the boxes of toys that haven't been stocked yet. But please be respectful. Don't dig into sealed pallets of toys without permission, don't precariously unstack boxes, or start opening cardboard boxes unless the box is clearly identified as MGA Toys or Miniverse, because you can easily tell from the shipping boxes what's inside. Regardless of the store that you're checking, be kind and respectful to the staff. I always suggest going to Target employees and saying, if I give you the DCPI number for a product, would you be able to check the back to see if it's in stock? You can get the DCPI number on the Target listings by scrolling to the bottom of the product description and detail. I always recommend asking in person because most stores will not hold products for you over the phone. Additionally, if you're going to drive from store to store, just be aware that more often than not, the available info on the website is wrong. Between the rampant theft of these items and the store's inventory that don't update nearly as quickly as product sells, I've had plenty of experiences with stores that show 50 or more balls in stock and there's none on hand in the store. But just as many times I've had stores show none in stock online, and employees have returned triumphantly from the back with cases that they've brought fresh out of shipping containers. If you want to get the staff to check the back for you, always be polite and kind to the employees, and don't be annoyed with them about it. Be grateful whenever they are willing to help you, and be thankful when they find something you're looking for. Additionally, I always say, I'm looking for both styles of this product, so if you have any in the back, I'd appreciate that you bring out whatever you find. Many times they will come out with multiple cases of product. Awesome, so now that you know how to locate the toys in store, really quickly I'm going to go over 5 important tips for things that I suggest you buy before you start collecting the Miniverse Make It Mini product. We're going to be concocting these awesome miniature resin crafts, mostly in my craft room, but you may see some future video where I'm working in my kitchen. It's important to note that these first 2 series that I'm going to release videos for were out almost a year ago, in the middle of 2022. It may be hard or impossible to find these for sale anymore, but I did want to still make the video because I've been working on this series and the weight guide for a long time, and I didn't want to waste the info or the footage. Plus, I'm a completionist, and I wanted to make sure that every series was covered in detail. I do have some good news for you. I'm not going to wait till the end of the video to tell you either. If you have a Party City store that's nearby, I highly suggest that you go and drop by. Their online inventory amounts are not correct in almost every instance that I experienced, but I recently visited 19 different stores across New Jersey, and I was able to find over 40 of the Diner and Cafe Series 1 balls. Also, as of the release of this video just 2 days ago, MGA updated their website and put the Diner Series 1 products back on sale. Most people didn't believe that the Diner or Cafe Series 1 products would ever get relaunched. After 6 months of the products being not in stock, and looking like we were never going to get any more, it does look like MGA may have reconsidered. If you're a doll collector like myself, you may be using these minis to build scenes and create dynamic environments with dolls, as I rarely just build the item like it's shown in the instruction. I prefer to make these items really work for the dolls that I'm going to photograph them with. So as we go through each item and what it came with and the best way to put it together for the best end results, in addition to the way that you can identify the ball at the store, I'm also going to cover some cool hacks for making these awesome mini toys or craft kits, whatever you consider them, to be the best that they can be for your money. Number 1, you buy the same scale that I use for toy hunting. A small digital scale for weighing the balls when they first come out in stores. The scale that I use will run you about $16 through Amazon. You can find my affiliate link down below. Number 2, a high-powered UV resin flashlight and AAA battery. There's also an affiliate link for one of these. By using the flashlight, my items are instantly cured in seconds, and I don't have to wait around for the sun to do its thing over a period of days, leaving sticky resin items around my house or on windowsills for cat hair to get stuck to or dust.
No thanks.
Number 3, an X-Acto knife. This will come in handy when you're customizing, cleaning up any of your toy minis more than you can imagine. Remember, this is a crafting and toy channel for adults, so I'm not going to tell you to ask your parents for permission, because if you're 40 like me, your mom's just going to think you're crazy for playing with toys and for asking her permission to use an X-Acto knife. Number 4, a clear container of UV resin. If you buy a container of plain uncolored UV resin from Michael's or any other craft store, you can also find it on Amazon. I've included that affiliate link also. You can actually turn the promotional items that appear on the front of the cases and the products at the stores and create these at home as if they were the same as the ones inside the ball that you bought for $9.99. Can we normalize people not ripping the freebie items off the boxes in stores unless the box is either empty or you're buying the end of the case?
But anyway.
It's always good to have extra resin on hand in case you need it, in case something gets spilled or you make a mistake, but also when you add in the final item I'm going to suggest that you buy and the UV resin, could make all of your Miniverse items even better. And the final item is chalk pastels.
You can tint your clear resin or change the color of the resin that comes with the Miniverse items to get much more accurate and realistic colors.
Better dimension and definition, and a way more realistic look. But don't worry, if all you have is the MGA Miniverse product in hand as it came, you can still make them pretty awesome. Quick side note before I really dig into these things, if you're feeling particularly lazy or you're just really sick of looking for that last one that you need in the series, I do my best to keep all my Miniverse items in stock on my Mercari shop to the best of my ability. The link to my Mercari shop is down below this video in the description box, and I won't blame you or make you feel bad for skipping the rest of the video and coming back to it later if you really just want to snag those fancy rainbow royal macarons or that adorable red slider turtle or the impossible to find unicorn sundae before they run out. I don't charge scalper pricing, and buying from me just means that I can make more videos like this in the future. If you want to see the rest of my Miniverse series, be sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss a thing.
So now, let's check out the actual weight guide.
Item number 1, the mint chip milkshake. This item comes with a placemat that says 100% happy, a milkshake glass, plastic drinking straw, mint chip milkshake resin, cookie pieces, a shaker container of chocolate chips, a plastic container of whipped cream, and a tabletop and table piece. Since I'm not going to be displaying these individual items, and the tables are too small to work with my dolls, I'm not going to show you the little tables each and every time, but I just thought I would mention at the beginning that each of the items in the series does come with. If you're hoping to identify a mint chip milkshake, you're going to want to look for balls that weigh around 103.78 grams. There's going to be 2 items that also have similar weight. The lemon tart weighs in at 103.56 grams. The mixed berry tart is the next closest item, weighing in 104.41 grams. And the French toast is about 105.24. And you might find that the mint chocolate shake is just slightly over or slightly under the weight that I've given you. Both of those tarts are very close in weight to the mint chocolate shake. To create a really realistic looking shake, the most important thing is that you start off with a mint resin. Pour some mint resin into the glass and then add some of the chocolate chips to the drink, stirring them in. You're going to want to use either the tweezers that came with the set or a drinking straw or a toothpick to place some of the chocolate chips up against the sides of the glass. If the chocolate chips are in the middle of the resin, you won't actually get to see most of them from the outside once you harden it. So be sure to slide some of the chocolate chips up against the sides of the glass, making them visible in the final product. If you've got the UV flashlight like I suggested, you're going to want to harden the resin when it's about 4/5 of the way full. That way you'll be able to put the top ingredients on top of the solidified resin. If you don't harden the resin for the drink before building the top layer of the drink, you're going to end up with your ingredients sinking down into your glass and into your resin, and they'll disappear into the drink, and you don't want that to happen. You're going to want to either put the straw in the middle of the mixture and harden it that way, or you can cut the straw shorter using your X-Acto knife and put only part of the straw in so that it looks like it's going deeper into the glass. Once you've built up a base for the top ingredients and hardened it, you're going to add a little bit more resin to the glass. It can be hard to fit the items around the drinking straw, so just use whatever you need to make your mini look good. Remember, you don't need to use everything every time you make a recipe. I always suggest saving some of your extra ingredients to build fun things later. I suggest getting a small plastic feed container. This is where I store my extra ingredients and where I keep my completed minis as well. So build up most of the drink and harden the resin, and then build a shallow layer on top, hardening that separate. Remember to move your UV light around the item, or to put the item in a place where all sides of it are engulfed by the UV light so that the entire thing hardens all the way through. If your resin is still tacky at any point at all, make sure to put it back under the light. If you do want to store some of your leftover resin for later, be sure to put the lid back on fully and store it upright in a cool, dry place. Don't do like I did when I was first making these items, throw them all in a plastic bag. You'll find yourself throwing them out when all that leftover resin has leaked from the containers and is hardened into a big clump. This was a huge bummer since I wanted to use a lot of those containers as miniature food props. This is what you want to do if you're going to be giving this item to a child to play with, as you don't want any sticky resin to be continually transferred onto their hands or other toys. Item number 2, strawberry waffles. The strawberry waffles are going to be in the Diner Series 1 ball, weighing in at 106.73 grams. The strawberry waffles were the third heaviest item in the series, only behind the strawberry and blueberry cheesecakes. This item comes with a blue placemat that says Rise and Shine, a white oval serving plate, a plastic fork, a box containing 2 waffles, a plastic clamshell container containing whole and sliced strawberries, a container of whipped cream, and a jar of resin syrup. Building the strawberry waffles is pretty cut and dry. You're going to want to take the waffles out of the box and place them on the plate. Pour some syrup over the top of the waffles, making sure that you connect the waffles to each other as well as the plate.
If you're feeling rather crafty like I was, you can create a pat of butter using resin. Using yellow chalk pastels, I tinted some clear resin, and I poured the resin into a small piece of plastic that I kept from packaging. After I cured the resin, I cut it apart in small squares, creating little pats of butter.
You might want to harden resin in between each step so that you get the placement of the waffles correct. You're also going to want to sprinkle on some sliced strawberries, and using the uncut strawberry for garnish, decorate around the large dollop of whipped cream. These absolutely look good enough to eat, but don't do it. I do promise they do not taste like syrup and waffles. They just look cute as hell. Alright, so let's move on to the next item. Item number 3, cherry pie. This item comes with a small paper doily placemat, a metal pie plate, a plastic spoon, a plastic clamshell container with a pie crust inside, a jar of cherries, and a jar of resin cherry pie filling. If you're hoping to identify the elusive cherry pie, you're going to want to look for balls weighing around 98.97 grams. Every one of the cherry pies that I opened was very, very close to 99 grams, including the one that was 99.22. That was the heaviest of the cherry pies that I opened. Actually, building the cherry pie is a little bit more complicated than many of the other items in this series. It is definitely one of the coolest looking ones, and it's been the most popular one I've had requested in my Mercari shop. To create the cherry pie, you're going to want to place the pie crust inside the metal pie tin. You can connect the pie crust to the tin with a small dot of your extra bottle of clear resin if you want to keep the pie from coming out of the metal tin. You're going to pour some of the cherry filling into your crust, and then sprinkle on as many of the cherries as you want to use. Now please remember, once the pie is closed, you're not going to see most of these cherries. My suggestion is that you build up a layer of the resin and harden it before you actually put any of the cherries in the pie crust. That way you're not wasting the cherries on the inside of the pie where no one's going to see them. Build up a layer of the resin and harden it, and then add a little bit more resin and place some cherries inside, hardening it once again. Next, put the pie crust on top of the pie, and I suggest that you use a really tiny toothpick or other small item to put some of the cherry filling resin around the edges of the opening of the inside of the top of the crust. This way, when you harden the resin again, the pie will actually remain closed. Remember, if you just build the pie as it says in the instructions, by putting the ingredients inside and then closing it and then hardening the UV resin, there's a good chance that you're not going to have the actual pie stay shut or stick together because the UV resin can't penetrate the outside of the pie plate and it's not going to harden the resin that's on the inside. So you're going to need to build this in steps. You also don't have to waste a lot of the cherries, only putting cherries on the top of the pie where you're going to see it through the open crust. This is the best way to make your pie look good, but without wasting as many of the cherries as you would by following their instructions. If you're really crafty, you could cut a slice of the pie out before you make it. I do not recommend trying to make a cherry pie and then cut it with an X-Acto knife after the fact. If you're going to try to build a pie with a slice missing, you're going to need to cut the slices out of the pie before you actually create it. You're going to need to build it in steps. These are the steps that I took to build mine. First, I cut a slice out of the top and the bottom of the pie, making sure that they are the same size and that they line up. Then, I added small amounts of resin and cherries, building up the inside of both the pie slice and the pie crust. I had to cure the resin multiple times to make sure the pieces stayed together while I was working. This was a little bit of a challenge, but I really loved the end result. If you try to do anything different or unusual with your Miniverse, did it work out? How did you feel about the end result? I'd love it if you'd leave me comments, and I'd love to see your pictures if you want to share them with me. Item number 4, strawberry toast. This item comes with a blue checkered sunny side up placemat, an oval white serving plate, a bag containing 2 slices of toast, a plastic clamshell container with sliced strawberries, and a plastic knife, and a container of resin hazelnut chocolate spread that I imagine is supposed to be like Nutella. If you're hoping to identify the strawberry toast, you're going to want to look for balls weighing around 101.25 grams. As far as the weight goes, strawberry toast is right in the middle of this series, weighing just over 101 grams. It's also very close to the weight of the Smores Parfait and the chocolate shake at 101.27 grams. It may be very difficult to distinguish between the 3. To create the perfect strawberry toast, you're going to take the slices of bread out of the bag, spread the Nutella onto each slice, and then sprinkle your strawberry slices on top. You can connect the 2 pieces of bread together, or to the plate, or both, by hardening the resin in place once you feel that the item looks the way you want it to. Remember, if you want the items to be able to be separated and picked up by dolls, you'll want to harden them each individually and make sure that they're not attached to the plate below. You may choose to harden the resin with a fork, spoon, or knife on the plate so that you can still incorporate those into the scene, or you may choose to leave them loose by not putting any resin on them. Remember, as soon as you harden a utensil onto the plate or as part of the food, they'll be forever attached and unusable. While it may make for great photography to have the fork frozen in place and able to be held by a doll, remember, there are other ways to achieve this as well. You can always use sticky tack in the hand of a doll to hold the utensil in place. You may choose to use the resin to attach pieces of the food to the fork. That way, when the doll lifts the utensil, it looks like they are taking some food along with it. Just remember that whatever you choose, if you harden resin to the utensils, it's going to be permanent. Another option is that you can always cut some items away from the food to make it look like your toast has had a bite taken out of it, or it has been partially eaten. Here, you can see that I've made the toast 2 different ways. On this plate, the display is static, and the items are attached, and it's meant to stay that way. With this second build, I can actually show that my dolls are enjoying and eating the food. Item number 5, S'mores Parfait. This item comes with a round paper doily, a glass mason jar to contain the parfait, a spoon, a bag of marshmallows, a chocolate bar in a wrapper, a bag of cake crumbles, and resin chocolate pudding. If you're hoping to identify the S'mores Parfait, you're going to check for balls that weigh close to 100.26 grams. The S'mores Parfait is just over 100 grams, with the closest in weight being strawberry toast weighing in at 101.25 grams. Remember, if you've got a full case of balls in front of you, you should be able to identify which item is which based on the weights of the other balls. Even if you don't want to buy all the items in the series, you still may want to weigh multiple balls to compare to one another to get an idea of which ball is which. The S'mores Parfait is probably one of my favorite items from Series 1. First, it comes with enough ingredients to keep plenty of leftovers for other items that you may want to build later. I love the mason jar glass that they served with this one and the look of the actual food that comes with it. First, you're going to start by layering the chocolate pudding resin into the glass and then sprinkling in some of the cake crumbles and a few of the marshmallows. Don't waste too many in this part of the jar because they'll just get lost in the resin and disappear. Be sure to use your toothpick or tweezers to push the marshmallows against the side of the glass so that they can be seen in the different layers. So sprinkle them in and then use your tools to slide them against the edges of the glass, and then harden the layer of resin to keep them in place. Important reminder, darker resins may take a little bit longer to cure. Layered foods should always be hardened in layers so that you can be sure everything is held in place securely when you want to move to the next layer. If you put some objects on top of other objects that aren't yet hardened into place, it is very likely that they will move and you won't be able to see them. And when you harden the resin, the final product will not look anything like what you were hoping for. Even if you don't want to harden the spoon into your creation, don't forget to leave a space for the spoon to go so that you can put the spoon in the jar after it's been created. Item number 6, lemon tart. First, I want to make a mention that it's really stupid that they called this the lemon tart. It's a lemon blueberry tart and they should have called it that. But anyway, this item comes with a cake stand and a glass cloche, a round paper doily, a plastic fork, an empty tart shell, a plastic clamshell container with slices of lemon, a plastic clamshell container with blueberries, and a bottle of lemon curd UV resin. See, this is why the tables that come with this series confuse me. If the purpose of the table is to display the item like a cake stand, why give us a second smaller cake stand for some of the smaller pies and cakes? It's very weird. But anyway, if you're trying to identify the lemon tart, you're going to want to look for a ball that weighs around 103.56 grams. There are several items in this series that are pretty close. Using these weights and comparing to the other weights of the items of the balls that you find, you'll hopefully be able to find the right item. You ready to make the lemon blueberry tart? First, create a nice thin, even layer of the lemon curd by spreading it out within the tart shell and hardening it. You'll want to build up a nice base of the lemon curd to make your tart look full. If you're really trying to conserve your resin, you could easily put a small thin piece of foam or several paper circles in the bottom before covering it with the resin. Regardless of whether you use a hack or you just fill the tart with the resin that you're given, you need to build up the bottom layers so that you can decorate the top of the tart and make it look like a real dessert. I really like the look of spreading the lemon slices around the edges of the tart and then making a small pile of blueberries in the center, as well as adding some blueberries here and there around the outer edge. Once you've built up the inside of the tart, you can totally do that. I generally add each slice of fruit by dipping it into the lemon curd resin or using a spoon or toothpick or tweezers to dab a small amount of resin on the back of each piece before putting the slices in place. I usually cure my resin after I add each slice of fruit. By curing the resin in between the pieces of fruit, it ensures that pieces don't slide around and that everything will end up exactly where you want it. When you're done decorating the top of your tart, you may want to add a little bit more resin here and there to make it really look realistic. The very first Miniverse item that I ever created was a lemon tart just like this, and I screwed it up really badly by following the directions. I actually added all the resin, and then I started to layer the top of the tart with the fruit piece. But the fruit all sank down into the crust, and it started to get hidden beneath the resin. I ended up using my tweezers to try to remove most of the fruit pieces and cleaning them off with a wet baby wipe, but it just wasn't the same. It ended up kind of being a mess, and half of the pieces were sunk down into the resin. Always remember to remove any resin that you don't want to be hardened from the area where you're using the UV light to cure object. It only has to shine on the resin for a moment and even from a distance for the resin to be cured and hard, and then you're totally out of luck. So if you've got the open bottle of resin sitting around and you're still creating your object, make sure that the open bottle of resin is nowhere near your UV light. Item number 7, the strawberry shake. This product comes with a milkshake glass, a plastic drinking straw, the blue round drink coaster that says 100% happy, strawberry milkshake resin, a package of vanilla cookies, a plastic clamshell container full of strawberry slices, and a whipped cream canister filled with individual dollops of whipped cream. The strawberry shake weighs in at
100.26 grams. It's just 1 gram heavier than the chocolate shake.
To create the strawberry version of the shake, the most important thing is starting off with the strawberry shake resin. You're going to want to fill the glass about half full, and then sink the straw into the shake as far as it'll go. Make sure that you put the straw up against the side edge, or else you're not going to be able to fit the toppings on the top of the glass. Next, you're going to harden the resin that you've added so far to build up the entire bottom layer of your strawberry milkshake. Once you've built up the solid base for the top ingredients, you're going to add an additional small amount of resin. You'll want to arrange everything aesthetically around the top edge of the glass and the drinking straw. Be sure to cure the added resin to hold everything in place. Item number 8, blueberry cheesecake. This item comes with a clear plastic cake stand as well as a translucent cloche cover, a round paper doily, a plastic fork, a pie container with a thick heavy cheesecake inside, a plastic clamshell container of blueberries, as well as blueberry resin syrup.
The blueberry cheesecake is the second heaviest in the series, behind the strawberry cheesecake that weighs in at 111.48 grams. There is quite a gap between the blueberry cheesecake and the next heaviest, which is strawberry waffles at 106.73 grams. The two cheesecakes should be easily identifiable in the package because they are significantly heavier than just about everything else in the series. In every case that I weighed, the strawberry cheesecake was at least half a gram heavier than the blueberry cheesecake, making it not only possible but easy to determine which cheesecake you have.
To create your blueberry cheesecake, place the cake on top of the paper doily and place both on your cake stand. Then squeeze a thin, small amount of the resin blueberry syrup across the top of the cheesecake. Remember, if you do choose to drip any resin down the sides of your cake, it may give it a more realistic appearance, but you won't be able to put the cloche on over the cake when it's been cured. After covering the top with resin, sprinkle the blueberries on, using your tweezers to help guide the individual items into the correct place. Once you're happy with the design, you could harden the resin in place. Item number 9. French toast. This item comes with a rectangular Rise and Shine orange placemat, a white plastic oval-shaped breakfast plate, a pale orange box of 2 French toast slices, a plastic fork, a plastic clamshell container of blueberries, a plastic clamshell container of sliced banana, and a jar of resin syrup. If you're hoping to identify the French toast, you're going to want to look for balls weighing in at around 105.24 grams or slightly less. The French toast is one of the heaviest items in the entire set, with only the strawberry waffles and both of the cheesecakes weighing more. The next closest item below it is the mixed berry tart at 104.41 grams, so they should be significantly different enough to identify the French toast. To assemble, you're going to want to take the slices of toast out of the box and place them on your plate. Cover your French toast with the resin syrup and sprinkle the sliced bananas and blueberries across the top of your toast, using your tweezers to help guide the individual blueberries. Remember again that you can use your X-Acto knife to cut away pieces of the French toast to make it look like it's in the middle of being eaten. Decide what you're going to do ahead of time with your fork. Are you going to attach it to the plate, or do you want the fork to be loose so that you can have a doll handle it and make it look like they're in the middle of enjoying their meal? Item number 10, banana pudding. This item comes with a round paper doily, a wide-brimmed Parfait glass, a plastic spoon, a clamshell package of banana slices, a package of cake crumbles, a tub of whipped cream with a large dollop inside, as well as a squeezed bottle of resin banana cream. Are you looking for the banana pudding? You're going to look for the Diner Series 1 pink ball weighing in at 100.66 grams or slightly less. The banana pudding is very close in weight to the Smores Parfait,
with banana pudding weighing about 0.4 grams more than the S'mores Parfait. The banana pudding is another layered recipe that builds just like the parfait. Begin by layering the bottom of the parfait glass with resin.
After you've added the resin, you're going to want to add a few banana slices and some cake crumbles before adding another layer of resin. Remember to harden the resin between each layer so that the items stay in place. When you get to the top of the container, you're going to add a little bit more cake crumbles and you're going to put the large dollop of whipped cream in the center. You're going to want to position at least one banana slice and some of the cake sprinkles around the edges of the whipped cream. Be sure to add enough resin to hold these items in place and to harden it. Next, shine your UV light through the sides of the glass or position the glass on its side after the top has been hardened so that the UV light can really penetrate the glass and harden the entire thing all the way. This can be particularly important with any of the layered items. Don't forget to leave a space for the spoon unless you decide to harden the spoon in place inside your parfait. I really love the look of the banana pudding. This one's really creative and interesting, and even if you're not into banana so much like me, it really looks good. Item number 11, banana toast. This item comes with a pink and white checkered rectangular paper sunny side up placemat, a white plastic oval shaped platter, a plastic knife, a bag containing 2 slices of toast, a clamshell container of banana slices, and a jar of resin peanut butter. Still trying to find the banana toast? It's going to be the second lightest item in the series. Look for the Diner Series 1 pink ball weighing close to 97.75 grams. Only the strawberry parfait seems to weigh less at 96.13 grams. There's not actually a lot to say about the banana toast. It's a pretty simple one. You're going to remove the bread slices from the plastic bag and place them on the platter. Spread the peanut butter on top of the bread and then sprinkle the banana slices on top of that. Remember, you can use an X-Acto knife to cut away pieces to make the toast look as if it's being eaten. Item number 12, chocolate chip pancakes. This item comes with the pink rectangular paper Rise and Shine placemat, a white oval serving plate, a blue cardboard box containing 3 pancakes, a plastic fork, a plastic clamshell package of banana slices, a small shaker container of chocolate chips with an orange lid, and a bottle of resin maple syrup. If you're hoping to identify the chocolate chip pancakes, you're going to want to look for the Diner Series 1 pink ball weighing in at almost exactly 103 grams. And the lemon blueberry tart is about 0.5 grams more. The chocolate chip pancakes fall solidly in the center of the pack. There's not really a lot of diversity within the Diner Series 1 products, but I did really like the look of the chocolate chip pancakes. I thought it was an interesting choice to add the bananas, because really if you make chocolate chip pancakes, I thought that it was common to add the chocolate chips inside the pancake. So I'm surprised that they actually just used plain pancakes and gave us chocolate chips to put on the outside. You'll want to stack the pancakes on the plate in whatever manner you feel comfortable, and then pour the resin syrup over the outside. You can sprinkle the top with the banana slices and chocolate chips before hardening them in place. Don't forget you have the option to cut away pieces, and you can always harden the fork in place, even hovering it over the plate to make it look like the pancakes are being eaten.
Bonus content. This is a great tactic for any of the minis. You can use a small clear piece of plastic cut away from plastic packaging. You can create a small thin strip and use that to attach the fork or other utensil to your Miniverse mini. Then you cover the clear piece of plastic in whatever resin comes with the mini, making it look like the bite that you've taken is being pulled away from the plate. This is a great way to give your minis extra dimension and to make them look extra special. This is really similar to the frozen moments concept that you see with mini brands and adds really cool action to your miniatures. I'll also be sharing more frozen moments tips and tricks in upcoming videos. So be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you see all of my upcoming videos on the Miniverse series.
Item number 13, strawberry parfait. This item comes with a round paper doily, a wide-mouthed parfait glass, a plastic spoon, a plastic clamshell container containing cake cubes, and a plastic clamshell container containing whole strawberries as well as strawberry slices. Also included is a bottle of resin vanilla cream. Still in pursuit of the strawberry parfait? You're going to want to look for the ball that weighs in at about 96 grams. It's the lightest of all of the Diner Series 1 item. If you get any item that weighs less than 97 grams, you should be on the right track to get the strawberry parfait. Much like many of the other parfaits, you're going to put this item together one layer at a time. Start by filling your glass with a little bit of the resin. You're going to sink some of the cubes into the resin and then harden it. Next, add a little bit more resin and some strawberry slices, and harden that as well. When you get to the top of the glass, you're going to add a little bit more resin and then decorate the top with sliced strawberries, cake cubes, and the one whole strawberry as a garnish. Don't forget to leave a space for the spoon. You can harden the spoon in place or leave it out of the glass. Item number 14, strawberry cheesecake. This item comes with a round white paper doily, a clear plastic cake stand, as well as a translucent cloche cover, a plastic fork, a pie container with a thick, heavy cheesecake inside, a plastic clamshell container containing whole and sliced strawberry, as well as strawberry resin syrup.
The strawberry cheesecake weighs in at 111.48 grams and is the heaviest item in the entire series. The blueberry cheesecake weighs in at 110.21 grams. It was almost always consistent that the blueberry cheesecake was 1.2 to 1.5 grams lighter than the strawberry cheesecake. Assembling the cheesecake is easy.
Place the cake on top of the paper doily and place both on your cake stand. Cover the top of the cheesecake with resin. After spreading the resin evenly around the top of the cheesecake, cover the resin surface with your sliced strawberries and place your whole strawberries in the center of the cheesecake before curing the resin. If you want to make the cheesecake look more realistic, you have the option of dripping small amounts of the resin down the side of the cheesecake. Just remember that if you do this, you may not be able to put the cloche on top of the cheesecake. Item number 15 is the mixed berry tart. This item comes with a round plastic cake display stand with a clear lid, a round white paper doily, a plastic fork, a shallow pie tart crust in a plastic container, 2 plastic clamshell containers, one containing strawberry slices and one containing mixed raspberries and blueberries, and a squeeze bottle of resin lemon cream. Still trying to find the mixed berry tart for your collection? Look no further. You just need to find the ball that weighs closest to
102.51 grams. The key lime pie weighs in at 102.28 grams.
The mixed berry tart is another one where it's really important to build up the base layer of resin before you build the top layer. You're going to want to fill your tart crust about halfway up with resin. Make sure the resin is spread evenly and lays completely flat within your tart shell. Cure the resin. After you've cured the first layer of resin, add a little bit more and spread it evenly across the tart shell again. This time you can start adding all of your mixed berry pieces into place. I suggest adding the berries tweezers to make sure that they are spread evenly and look nice. I would not just dump the different kinds of fruit in the inside of the tart shell. Personally, I find the tarts to look better if you individually place the fruits inside the resin, one at a time. After adding all your fruit, make sure that you cure your resin thoroughly. Item number 16, avocado toast. This is probably the most rare item in the series, and I say this because even in all of the full cases that I got, I did not always necessarily get an avocado toast. I believe they show up as frequently as one in every other case. The avocado toast was one of the most popular items in my Mercari shop. Everybody seemed to want it, but it was really hard to find. In my first opening, I did 7 cases and I only received 3 avocado toast out of those 7 cases. The avocado toast item comes with an orange and white rectangular checkerboard sunny side up paper placemat, a white oval serving plate, a plastic knife, a plastic bag with 2 slices of toast, a plastic clamshell package with avocado slices, and a jar of butter-like resin spread. The weight of the avocado toast is approximately 99.6 grams, falling just under 100 grams. The avocado toast falls solidly in between the cherry pie at 98.97 or just under 99 grams, and below the Smores Parfait at 100.26. Assembling the avocado toast is simple like all the rest. You're going to take the toast out of the bag and place it on your platter. Decide whether or not you want the toast attached to the platter and apply resin accordingly. After you've spread the butter-like substance across the top of the toast, whether you're layering it or not, add the sliced avocado pieces to the butter and harden your resin. Item number 17, chocolate shake. This item comes with a round pink cow print 100% happy coaster, a milkshake glass, a plastic-wrapped milkshake straw, a chocolate bar, a package of chocolate wafers, a tub of whipped cream containing a large dollop, and a bottle of resin chocolate milkshake. Chocolate shake weighs in at about 101.27 grams. As I said before, the chocolate shake is very close in weight to the strawberry toast, and they may be indistinguishable from one another at 101.25 and 101.27 grams. But for what it's worth, the chocolate shake is usually just a little bit heavier than the strawberry toast. If you have a full case, you're comparing weights, and you've got one that's just slightly heavier than the other, that should be your chocolate shake. Interestingly, it also weighs about a full gram less than the strawberry shake. To assemble your chocolate milkshake, you're going to want to start by putting resin inside the milkshake glass. Fill your milkshake glass about 2/3 of the way full and add your drink straw. Make sure the straw is all the way up against the back edge of the glass or you won't have room at the top for the whipped cream. Go ahead and cure your resin, then fill the rest of the glass with resin, topping it with your whipped cream and chocolate bar and putting your chocolate wafers in upright. You can either use both wafers or cut one in half and use both sides of it to make it look like 2. I also recommend cutting down your chocolate bar because the full-size chocolate bar is a little bit too big and unwieldy for the top of the shape. With the size of the whipped cream dollop, it may be really hard to get enough space to put everything in place, so make sure that you mess around with these a few times and get everything the way you like it before you harden things in place. The chocolate shake was one of the trickier items to make in this bunch because there was so little room at the top once the straw was in the drink. And finally, item number 18, the key lime pie. This item comes with a round pie serving dish, a round white paper doily, plastic spoon, a plastic clamshell package with sliced limes, a pie crust, and a whipped cream container containing small whipped cream dollops, and a jar of resin key lime spread. The average weight of the key lime pie is 102.28 grams. The key lime pie is just slightly heavier than the strawberry shake, coming in at 0.24 grams heavier.
The strawberry milkshake weighs in at 101.68 grams, which is about 1.4 grams lighter than the key lime pie.
To assemble your key lime pie, first place your pie crust in the serving tray. Fill most of the pie crust up with the resin and cure it. Once you've cured the entire inside of the pie, you're going to put a top layer of resin into your pie crust, and that's where you're going to start assembling the fruit on top. I suggest assembling your slices of lime around the outside of the pie, and then interspersing those with the dollops of whipped cream. Just be sure that you've created a lower, stable level of cured resin first, because if you try to decorate the top of the pie, curing all of the resin at once, inevitably you'll suffer from the same failure that I had with the first key lime pie that I made. I lost some of my fruit inside of my key lime pie, and it didn't look nearly as good as my later attempts, where I made sure to put a solid base first. I really hope you've enjoyed this Diner Series 1 guide, and I hope that you'll check back for all the rest of the series as I upload them.
Please subscribe to my mommy channel.
This has been Christy from Crafty Magic Dolls, and I'll see you next time.